after the birthday, I'm out of young global leader of Davos. I finished because over 40 is finished this time. But I'm really glad to be here. Really appreciated your invitation. Also, if not very easy, speaking about the future of my country, because you know, and you listened yesterday, while Andrea Bocelli showed every quality of the lyrics, music of our tradition, how many important is the past in our country, an incredible country, rich of culture, masterpieces. It's not very easy to discuss about the future, but it's absolutely an enthusiastic moment for our country. This is an incredible window of opportunity in Italy today. So I know there are a lot of risks. There are a lot of risks in Italy, in Europe, around the world. Not see the risks is stupid for a politician, but transform risks in opportunities is the quality of leadership. And every year, every season, every era presented a lot of risks. I was born in 1975. Italy is in the period with a great growth, but a lot of problems, for example, of the terrorism inside our countries. Europe was a place without democracy, without a strategy for European institutions. 1975 was exactly the moment in which, for the first time, it was decided the direct election of members of parliament in Europe. And if you think world was divided between Western and Eastern blocks, so every season, every era presents risks. And also today, we see a lot of problems, of difficulties. But I believe this as particular opportunity. And I think the role of politician must be that, seize the moment. I use an expression that comes from Roma, ancient Roma. Carpe diem. This is exactly the moment in which we can choose the future after a lot of difficulties. So very briefly, I think this is a moment, first of all, in my country. Italy needs an incredible season of reforms, and the future is started. I'm not here to present a future of tomorrow. For my country, the time of future is today, not tomorrow. We started with the change of labor market, with the fiscal system, tax reforms, with the civil justice, with a solid and strong ability to innovation of the civil justice with the innovation technologies in the court. And I believe absolutely important the new approach in the public administration, because I believe our enemy is a tape of bureaucracy, and give time clears and the possibility to ensure the investment for Italian entrepreneurs and international capital is one of the most important things. But at the same time, we presented in the first year of government a constitutional reform with more than 40 articles, 1/3 of Italian constitution we changed, because we think constitution is very important, it's very beautiful, but we need a constitution for the future, not only for the past. and a new electoral system to give finally, also in Italy, the possibility to choose the leader for 5 years. My government have in front 3 years of governments. I think we must absolutely create the condition because will be clear the winner as the leader of the country for a period, a stable period, and not with a change, continuous change of government. But in this job, we are very, very, very happy because we have a lot of Italian people who believe the place of Italy is not simply a museum. If I think about the future of my country for my children, I don't imagine to describe Italy as a museum. I appreciate museum, quality, culture, and lifestyle. But I prefer image my country as innovation lab for my children. And for that, we need a different idea of Europe. This is the second big point. A different idea of Europe for Italy comes after structural reforms. Because if we wait by European friends and colleagues the ability to solve our problem, we are finished. We must make our reforms because this is important in our country. But we must also say very clearly, European direction is not, in economic, the correct direction. I participated as my colleagues to Brisbane summit of G20 in the last November. Every continent, every country spoke about the necessity to invest in a growth. Every country. Europe apart. Eurozone apart. Eurozone spoke only about austerity. So I think it's absolutely important to maintain attention to budgets, reduce the taxation, invest in a different idea of relation between citizen and the leadership. But I think also this is the time in which European direction stress with more attention the importance of growth and public and private investments, not only a discipline of austerity. For this reason, I think the first steps of new Commission and the discussion in the next days of a European Central Bank, and let me be very clear, I respect the independence of the European Central Bank, could help Europe to give a message of new in economic direction. But Europe is not simply an economic community. I spent the January 11 Sunday in Paris with other colleagues after the terrible attack to the capital of France and one of the most important capitals of Europe and of the world. I spent with other colleagues and I felt the idea very clear. Europe is not simply euro. Europe is not simply a currency and a budget policy. Europe is, first of all, an idea who ensures 70 years of peace, 70 years of prosperity, of stability. And so for this reason, I believe absolutely important, Europe could be in the next years not simply the last, but the place in which we can give a message of innovation in the economics and also in the culture and in values and in the ideals. This is the request to come from around the world for Europe. If you think this is the moment in which Russia and Ukraine, but also Syria and Iraq, but also Libya, very important discussion, show to everybody the real importance of an very strong idea of Europe around the world. I think if we combine together the necessity of structural reforms in economy, the necessity of change of mind in the European people, and the necessity of a new international order, we can give a possibility to this country and in general to an idea of politics as a possibility of solve problems. So I conclude exactly from the same point of the start of my speech. Yes, there are a lot of risks. In a part, new risks, international terrorism, idea of the lack of sustainability. But I believe if finally the leadership are able to invest in the future, not as a problem, but as an opportunity, we can finally come back to the message very, very significant to our citizens. Carpe diem means exactly that. I can speak about commodities, about the relation between euro and dollar, but the possibility to come from the new reform in Europe. This is very important, but not crucial. The real crucial point, the key point for the new Europe and for the new Italy is image, an idea of a future focused on the ability to invest in the new generation and not simply to maintain the traditional approach in which future is a problem. And if this could be possible, I think Italy is a great country, not for the culture, not for the values, not for the music, but it's a great country because Italy in the past was the place in which was possible invest in innovation. And I believe for my children, Italy will be an innovation lab and not a museum. And this is the reason for which we serve this country and for which we change with the structural reforms the traditional country, very beautiful. But the best moment for Italy is not yesterday, will be tomorrow.